I stared at the number on my screen for the third time. Thought maybe I was reading it wrong. But no, the number wasn't changing. 4 years of transfers. 47 separate transactions, all small amounts. $5,000, $8,000, $12,000. Small enough not to draw attention. The total sat at the bottom of the spreadsheet, glowing. That's when my phone rang. My wife. Guess who just bought a house? Her voice was practically bursting through the speaker. And you won't believe where. I didn't care. I was staring at financial records that didn't add up. Had been for 4 hours. Something was wrong. Who? I said absently. Valerie, and in Riverside Gardens. My hand froze over the keyboard. Riverside Gardens. The neighborhood we walked through every weekend. The place where we'd been dreaming of buying a house for 3 years. The place we could never quite afford. How? I said slowly. Inheritance. Her sister passed away and left her everything. She got the keys today. After I hung up, I went back to the screen. 47 transfers stared back at me. Small amounts, carefully spaced, all going to the same place. And the total amount. I looked up toward the window. Valerie's car was still in the parking lot. She was inside. 1 floor down, in the accounting department. My wife's best friend of 13 years. My daughter's godmother. And now apparently the person who had been stealing from me. But how? When? And most importantly, was that inheritance real? My name is Garrett Lawson. I'm 38 years old. I run a small construction company in Seattle. And right now I'm trying to understand what the person I trusted most has done to me. I met my wife Lauren 12 years ago at a friend's wedding. Valerie was her maid of honor. They'd been inseparable since college, roommates for 4 years. Started their first jobs together at the same accounting firm. When Lauren and I got engaged, Valerie was the first person she told. Valerie stood beside Lauren on our wedding day. Became godmother to our daughter Emma 3 years later. Every Sunday she'd come over for brunch. Every holiday we'd include her. She was family. When my construction business started growing 5 years ago, Lauren suggested I hire Valerie to handle the books. She's the best accountant I know, Lauren had said. And you can trust her completely. I'd trusted her. Given her full access to company accounts, never questioned her work. She handled invoices, vendors, payroll, everything. Made my life easier so I could focus on the actual construction projects. Now, sitting in my office at 10 o'clock at night, I was realizing that trust had been a mistake. I pulled up the company bank records for the past 4 years, started cross-referencing every transaction Valerie had processed. The pattern emerged slowly. Payments to a vendor called Riverside Property Solutions, a company I'd never heard of. The first payment was 4 years ago. $8,000 for consulting services. Then another payment 2 months later. $12,000 for project management. The amounts varied, but the pattern was consistent. 2 to 3 payments per month. Always under $15,000. The threshold that would trigger automatic bank review. I searched for Riverside Property Solutions online. Found a business registration filed 18 months ago. Single owner, Valerie Chen. The same Valerie who is probably downstairs right now, closing up the accounting department. The same Valerie who just bought a house in the exact neighborhood Lauren and I had been saving to move to for 3 years. I opened our personal bank account. Lauren and I had been saving $4,500 a month for our dream house fund. After 3 years, we had accumulated just over $160,000. Not quite enough for the houses in Riverside Gardens, which typically sold for $350,000 and up. But Valerie had managed it somehow, with an inheritance from a sister I'd never heard her mention. My phone buzzed. A text from Lauren. Valerie invited us to see the new house this weekend. Can you believe she got that beautiful Cape Cod we loved? The one with the blue shutters? I knew that house. We'd walked past it dozens of times, talked about how perfect it would be for Emma, how the backyard was ideal, how the neighborhood had great schools. The asking price had been $340,000, the exact amount missing from my company accounts. I sat back in my chair, felt something cold settle in my chest. This wasn't anger, not yet. Just a quiet realization that the person who'd sat at our dinner table every week, the person my wife loved like a sister, the person we trusted with our daughter, had been systematically stealing from us for 4 years. And she'd used that money to buy the house we'd been dreaming about, the house we'd been saving for, the house we couldn't afford because she'd been taking our money. I needed proof, real, undeniable proof. I spent the next 6 hours building a case, downloaded every bank statement, every invoice, every payment record, cross-referenced everything with the business registration for Riverside Property Solutions, pulled the property records for Valerie's new house, the purchase price $338,000, paid in cash, closing date yesterday. By 4 a.m, I had a file folder 3 inches thick, documentation of every fraudulent payment, every fake invoice, every penny that had been diverted from my company into Valerie's shell company and ultimately into her house purchase. I didn't sleep, just sat at my desk watching the sun come up over Seattle, thinking about how to handle this. I could call the police immediately, have Valerie arrested, press charges, but that would destroy Lauren. Valerie wasn't just an employee. She was Lauren's best friend, had been for 13 years. This would break her. But doing nothing wasn't an option either. Valerie had stolen $340,000. She'd betrayed our trust. She'd looked my daughter in the eye as her godmother while robbing us blind. At 7 a.m., I called an attorney, Marcus Webb. We'd gone to high school together. He specialized in corporate fraud. "Garrett," he said when he answered. "Been a while. What's going on?" "I need legal advice, discreetly. My wife can't know yet." "That sounds serious." "It is. Can you meet me this morning?" We met at a coffee shop in Belltown at 8:30. I showed him everything. He read through the documents methodically, taking notes. When he finished, he looked up at me. "This is rock solid," he said. "Clear pattern of embezzlement, fraudulent vendor, shell company. The property purchase is the smoking gun. She used your money to buy that house." "What are my options?" "Several. But first you need to decide what you want. Criminal prosecution, civil recovery, both?" "I want my money back, and I want her to face consequences." "Criminal prosecution means police involvement. They'll arrest her. It'll be public. Your wife will find out that way." "And civil?" "You file a lawsuit, freeze her assets. The house gets seized and sold at auction. You recover your money. But Valerie could still face criminal charges independently." I thought about Lauren, about how this would affect her, about Emma losing her godmother, about the betrayal that went deeper than just money. "What if I confront Valerie first?" I asked. "Give her a chance to return the money?" Marcus shook his head. "People who've embezzled this much don't suddenly develop a conscience. She'll lie, delay, maybe disappear. You need to act decisively. What do you recommend? File a civil asset seizure immediately. Freeze the house. Freeze her bank accounts. Then give her a choice: return everything voluntarily or face criminal charges. How long? I can have the paperwork filed by end of business today. Asset freeze happens within 48 hours. I nodded. Do it. But I need to tell my wife first. That evening, I waited until Emma was asleep. Asked Lauren to sit with me in the living room. She could tell something was wrong. What is it? She asked. You look like you haven't slept. I haven't. I need to tell you something about Valerie. Her expression shifted. Concern. Is she okay? Physically, yes, but Lauren... I paused. There's no easy way to say this. Valerie's been stealing from the company for 4 years. $340,000. Lauren stared at me. That's not funny. I'm not joking. I have proof. I pulled out my laptop, showed her the spreadsheet, the transfers, the shell company, the property records. She scrolled through everything. Her hands started shaking. No, there has to be an explanation. Valerie wouldn't... The inheritance she told you about. It doesn't exist. Her sister is alive and well, living in Portland. I checked. Lauren's face went pale. The house. She bought it with our money, the money she stole from the company, the same company that pays our salaries, the same money we've been saving to buy our own house. But she's my best friend. She's Emma's godmother. Why would she? I don't know. But the evidence doesn't lie. Lauren started crying, not loud sobs, just quiet tears streaming down her face. 13 years, she whispered. I've known her for 13 years. I held her, didn't say anything. Sometimes there are no words for betrayal this deep. The next morning, Marcus filed the legal paperwork. By that evening, Valerie's bank accounts were frozen. A lien was placed on her new house. She couldn't sell it, couldn't borrow against it, couldn't do anything with it. The day after that, a process server delivered the lawsuit papers to her at work. I wasn't there. I'd taken the day off. Couldn't face seeing her yet. Lauren told me later that Valerie had broken down crying in the office, that she'd tried to call Lauren 50 times. Lauren hadn't answered. That weekend was supposed to be our tour of Valerie's new house. Instead, I got a call from Marcus. She wants to meet. Her attorney reached out. They want to negotiate. What do they want? To avoid criminal charges, she's willing to return everything. Everything? The house, her savings, whatever assets she has. In exchange, you agree not to press criminal charges. I thought about it. No. She doesn't get to negotiate. She stole from us for 4 years, looked my wife in the eye, held my daughter, sat at our table. She doesn't get to buy her way out. Garrett set up the meeting, but I want her to know exactly what she's facing. We met at Marcus's office 3 days later. Valerie walked in looking terrible. Dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back. She'd lost weight. Her attorney was a nervous young woman who looked fresh out of law school. Garrett, Valerie started. Her voice broke. I'm so sorry. Stop, I said. I don't want your apology. Her attorney pulled out a folder. Mr. Lawson, we're prepared to offer full restitution. The house will be sold. Proceeds will go to your company. Additionally, not enough, I said. Valerie looked up. What do you mean? You stole $340,000. But that's not the full cost. I had to pay an attorney. I had to hire a forensic accountant to verify everything. I've spent weeks dealing with this instead of running my business. And most importantly, you betrayed my family. You destroyed my wife's trust. You hurt my daughter. What do you want? Her attorney asked. She pleads guilty to embezzlement, gets it on her record, does community service, pays full restitution plus interest plus my legal fees, and she stays away from my family forever. Valerie started crying again. But Lauren, you don't get to say her name. You lost that right when you stole from us. Her attorney whispered something to her. Valerie nodded slowly. Okay, I'll do it. All of it. Just, please tell Lauren I'm sorry. Tell her yourself, if she ever wants to hear from you again. The legal process took 3 months. Valerie pleaded guilty to felony embezzlement, received 2 years probation, 500 hours of community service. Her house was sold at auction. I bought it. For exactly what she'd paid, $338,000, used the money she'd stolen from me. Seemed fitting. The extra $2,000 plus legal fees and interest came from her savings and her retirement account. Every penny she had. When it was done, Valerie declared bankruptcy. Lost everything. Lauren never spoke to her again, deleted her number, blocked her on social media, threw away every photo. It took her months to process the betrayal. Some days she'd be fine. Other days I'd find her crying in Emma's room. Emma asked about Aunt Valerie a few times. We told her that sometimes people do bad things and have to go away. She was too young to understand the details. Maybe that was for the best. 6 months after the legal case closed, we moved into the house. The blue Cape Cod in Riverside Gardens. The one we'd dreamed about. The one we'd walked past every weekend imagining our life there. It felt strange at first, knowing the history. But Lauren slowly made it ours. Painted the walls, changed the fixtures, planted new flowers in the garden, erased every trace of Valerie's brief ownership. Emma loved it. Her room overlooked the backyard. The neighborhood kids played together every afternoon. The schools were excellent. It was everything we'd hoped for. One evening, about a year after we'd moved in, Lauren and I were sitting on the back porch. Emma was playing with friends in the yard. Lauren took my hand. I'm glad you caught her, she said quietly. I know it hurt, but I'm glad you didn't let it go. I couldn't. She stole from us, from our family. Not just the money, though. She stole years of friendship, years of trust, made me question every memory we shared. You didn't do anything wrong. I know, but I picked her, trusted her, brought her into our lives, into Emma's life. You couldn't have known. No. But I should have seen something, some sign. I squeezed her hand. Valerie was good at hiding it. That's why she got away with it for 4 years. She knew exactly how to avoid suspicion. Do you think she planned it from the beginning? Maybe. Or maybe she saw an opportunity and took it. Started small and kept going. Either way, she's gone now. Yeah, she's gone. We sat in silence watching Emma play. The evening sun warm on our faces. This house, this life, had come at a cost. But it was ours now. Really ours. A few weeks later, I got a letter. No return address. Inside was a single handwritten page. Garrett, I know you don't want to hear from me. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But I need you to know the truth. It started as one small transfer. I had gambling debts. Thought I could pay it back before anyone noticed. But then the debts got bigger. The people I owed got dangerous. I kept taking more, trying to make it stop. By the time I realized how deep I was, it was too late. The house was supposed to be my fresh start. Sell it, pay everything back, disappear. I never meant to hurt Lauren or Emma. I know that doesn't matter now. I know I destroyed everything. I just wanted you to know it wasn't planned. It was desperation. I'm sorry. V. I read it twice. Then I tore it up, threw it away. I didn't tell Lauren about it. Some things are better left in the past. The truth was, I didn't care about Valerie's reasons anymore. Didn't care about her desperation or her gambling debts or her plans. She'd made her choices. Now she had to live with them. 2 years after buying the house, I was in the kitchen making coffee when I saw someone walking by on the sidewalk. Stopped and stared at our house for a long moment. It was Valerie. Thinner, older looking, wearing worn clothes. She didn't knock, didn't try to come to the door. Just stood there looking at the house that had once been hers, that she'd bought with stolen money, that we now lived in with our daughter. I thought about going outside, confronting her, telling her to leave, but I didn't. I just watched until she walked away. Shoulders hunched, defeated. Lauren came into the kitchen, followed my gaze out the window. Was that? Yeah. Should we call the police? The restraining order? No, she's gone. Let her go. Lauren stood beside me. We watched the empty sidewalk together. Do you think she regrets it? Probably. But regret doesn't undo what she did. No, it doesn't. That evening, I was putting Emma to bed. She looked up at me with those serious 8-year-old eyes. Dad, can I ask you something? Always. Do you ever miss Aunt Valerie? I thought about how to answer. I miss who I thought she was, but that person wasn't real. Mom says she did bad things. She did. Will we ever see her again? I don't think so, sweetie. Emma nodded. Process this. That's okay. We have our house now, and our family. That's what matters, right? That's exactly what matters. I kissed her forehead, turned off the light, stood in the doorway, watching her fall asleep in her room in our house in the neighborhood we'd always dreamed of living in. My name is Garrett Lawson. I'm 40 years old now. I still run my construction company in Seattle. I've hired a new accountant, someone with no personal connections to my family, someone who gets audited quarterly. Valerie's gone. Last I heard, she'd moved to another state, started over with nothing. Her criminal record makes it hard to find accounting work. She works retail now, from what I understand. Lives in a small apartment. Alone. Lauren healed eventually. Made new friends. Learned to trust again, though more carefully now. Emma doesn't ask about Aunt Valerie anymore. That chapter of our lives is closed. Sometimes I drive past other houses in the neighborhood. See families moving in, young couples with dreams. I wonder if they know the history of their neighbor's house. If they know what it cost us to live here. But mostly I just appreciate what we have. This house isn't just 4 walls and a roof. It's proof that betrayal doesn't have to win. That justice does exist, even if it's painful. That sometimes the dream you're working toward is worth protecting at any cost, I learned that trust is earned, that family isn't just blood or history, that people who truly care about you don't steal from you for 4 years while smiling at your dinner table. And I learned that the hardest decisions are often the right ones, even when they break your wife's heart and change your daughter's understanding of the world. Some mornings, I sit on the back porch with my coffee, watch the sun come up over Riverside Gardens. Think about all the weekends we walked through this neighborhood dreaming, never imagining that the person walking beside us, encouraging those dreams, was the same person making them impossible. But we're here now. We made it. Not the way we planned, not through the path we would have chosen, but we made it. And that's enough. More than enough. It's everything.